Hey, what's up everybody, Lawler here. We just wrapped up the first stage of the European Fall Split Regional Event 1. And yes, I do agree, it is a mouthful and a terrible name, and it's probably not going to get any better. But before we get into the recap of all those matches and what went down between Group A and Group B in Stage 1, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you'd like to support me further, all the social medias that are displaying in rotation right next to me can be found in the description down below. Go give those a like and follow as well. Being absolutely candid with you guys, I already had this video done, ready, and uploaded, but for some reason YouTube decided to give me the middle finger and say that the audio is corrupted, so we have to do it over. So bear with me, but there's a lot to cover. So with that said, a couple explanations that I'm going to make out of the gate, and I'm going to try to just minimal editing, just crush this out Gibbs style. So bear with me. You guys are going to get a raw and cut footage of this because I'm tired and need sleep desperately. So again, like I mentioned, the Fall European Regional Event 1 went down. Stage 1 of 3 has officially ended on this previous weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Group A and Group B played in Stage 1. And basically what that means is they took the top 32 teams in Europe and are breaking that down to 16. Those 16 will go and play next week for Stage 2 and in the playoffs. Stage 2 is basically them trying to find the top 8. The playoffs is the top 8 on Sunday. So if that doesn't make any sense, or if you guys have more questions on that, you can either go to the Wikipedia, which I'll leave a link down below, or you guys can just ask questions in the comments like you guys always do. Stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, link in the description. Whatever you guys need, come ask. I'm here to help. Otherwise, Wikipedia is your best friend. With that said, as a heads up and kind of as a formal warning, there's going to be a lot of things I'm covering, a lot of spoilers. So if you guys have not been able to watch all the 30 matches that were on air, by all means, just forewarning, there's going to be a lot of spoilers moving forward. With that said, as a generic breakdown before I go into the specifics of the matches and the results and kind of the official thoughts, the breakdown of the actual schedule. So when the day started, obviously there's two streams. There was twitch.tv/Rocket League and twitch.tv/eLeague TV. With the Rocket League stream, or the main broadcast with all the RLCS talent you guys know, the first 8 matches weren't covered. These were basically the high seed versus the low seed, the RLCS versus the non-RLCS. There was only one major upset where Monkeys ended up beating Chalked. Chalked was the former TSM team with Remco, Alot, and Magnus. Otherwise, every other high seed ended up winning. The way that it ends up working is those were done off broadcast. First 8 matches out of the way. The teams that are in green that are 1-0 will end up going to the high seed, and they'll play each other in a randomized seeding, while the lows, which are the 0-1s, end up playing each other to find kind of the middle of the pack. So what ended up happening is these teams ended up going 1-0, now 2-0, which end up putting them in the high seed. So Fadeaway, Top Lokes, Renault Vitality, and Barcelona ended up going 2-0 out of the second round. So when they hit round 3, those 2-0 teams are trying to hit a threshold of 3-0. If you hit 3-0, that means you're done for the day. You've qualified to the next stage. And if you go 0-3, you're done for the day and have been eliminated. So you have the teams here, 3-0 moving forward. These teams that end up losing are now 2-1 and have like an extra life going into the next stage, and will drop down here. All these teams are working for 3 wins no matter what. Once you get 3 wins, you're done. If you get 3 losses, you are eliminated from the tournament. You're done for the rest of the regional event. We have a Group A, like I mentioned, which happened on Saturday, and a Group B that happened on Sunday. That is the schedule as a whole, I guess. We're going to focus on Group A, and then we're going to do Group B. So kicking off with Group A and kind of what the title is about and what has happened in the course of both groups. As a precursor with Group A, the reason why I like this tournament structure in this format so much is because it is technically an open qualifier. Everybody can sign up. And yes, the RLCS and RLS teams of the past got buys. There is a lot of names that come in and have the potential for upsets. Case in point, but this is kind of where the spoilers are going to start, but like you're looking at Last Resort, a team that I think came in as like the 54th overall seed, where they're tied for 17th overall in all of Europe. That is the benefit of these open qualifier systems, where a lot of these teams that don't necessarily get chances don't have to wait for trying to go through the gauntlet that is Rival Series and then qualifying to RLCS and then also having the opportunity after. And yes, there's going to be a lot of teams that end up dropping out, but it also motivates and makes the region as a whole better. I know there's some people that have been talking to me in like DMs being like, Yeah, you know, but maybe sponsors aren't going to want that. Sponsors don't give a crap about who's playing. At the end of the day, if the viewership's good and the entertainment's there, sponsors are going to come in. The difficulty is, yes, players have the chance to lose their organizations if they don't perform. And case in point, Team Liquid, new addition from Mouse, Broad and Fruity, they don't qualify. I try to do my best not to clickbait the videos and the thumbnails and stuff and leave that information out. And I put the teams and did the title opposite, and hopefully you guys are okay with that. Hopefully you guys don't notice it as a trend or something, even though I'm bringing it up now. But you're seeing big name teams like Liquid and Oxygen and stuff like that. Guild almost didn't make it. Like, there's some big rosters in here that are now essentially done for the next 3 weeks. So to kind of break it down, Vitality, I still think, is the best team in the world right now. I think they would win even over NRG, being realistic. I'd probably go to the end, like best of 7, all the way to the grand finals, like overtime, you name it. But I think Vitality is still one of the best, if not the best. They absolutely dominate all their matches, no issues, only dropping 1 game to Solary. After that, you then get Barcelona, who's right behind them, and that was a big surprise. Itachi has really gelled well with this roster, and I'm really excited. I still hold off too much bias because next week, starting Saturday, we get to see the top 8 teams from both groups play each other. That's when you're going to get the RLCS matches that you kind of expect in league play of the past. And that will kind of tell us who is the best of the best. And the best part is we don't get to see a one and done. We get to see these guys play each other again in a groups kind of round robin Swiss style format again, where the best teams will make it through. So again, at the end of these regional events, you will know who truly is the best team in the region at the current moment, which is, I can't express how many matches there are. I'm going to try to do the math after a regional completes, how many matches total are actually played, because I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, you're talking 66 at minimum in stage 1. There's stage 2, so there's another however many. Then there's the playoffs, and then you also do that 3 times, plus the grid, plus the... Like, it's a ton of information, you guys, and I know it's overwhelming, so I'm going to try to focus back in. But Barcelona did really well. I think Singularity is fantastic, just with the fact that this is the new roster. Singularity used to be Though, Nolly, and Scrubkilla. Now that they're guild, they have kept Godsmilla, who was benched, and brought in 2 players instead. They look really good. Top blokes with Archie instead of Freaky. Like, Triple Trouble's back with Bluey. Like, Bluey's back in the RLCS. I mean, there's so many different names and rosters that we get to see these storylines develop, and that's just half of it. So that's fantastic. Big upsets, Team Liquid. Most of this went according to plan, but Team Liquid not making it's kind of a big one. They just did not look like they had any sort of fluidity. Sorry for the terrible pun, but they did not look like they were on the same page when it came to rotations. They were rushed in corners. Like, there was a lot of mistakes from them. So back to the drawing board. They technically don't have another regional event for at earliest 3 weeks of play. That is a long time. So luckily with grid and field, they should have something to play in. But again, 3 weeks of non-top level play, the points that they're missing out on, it's a really big deal. Jox was just kind of a fan favorite that didn't make it. The rest of this is kind of as expected. But we then jump down to Group B. So Group B, names as expected. Oxygen, a lot of people thought was probably going to be one of the high seeds. They did not qualify as well. Similar to the Liquid situation. Looked uncoordinated. Just did not look like they were gelling. And they had some pretty good battles, but overall, man, they just got upset by some pretty interesting moments. So jumping over to that, Dignitas, obviously with Joris, whatever the heck his name is, Joris is what his first name is, so I'm going to stick to that from now on. Dignitas looked great. Not the best offensive performance, really stellar on defense. They only allowed, I think, like 0.86 goals per game. They were the only team that averaged less than a goal a game, which is absolutely insanity because they've always had really strong offense, but their defense has lacked. So Verge in his interview talked about how they were really focusing on defense, and it actually ended up showing. So now they got to find a way to balance both of those things. But Dignitas already looking like a good team. Can they recreate that against the other RLCS teams next week? We'll end up finding out. Team BDS, the team that I want everybody to focus on and that should be paying attention to. 3-0 as well. I told you they were going to be good. I still think they're super stellar. Another full French roster that people need to be fearful of. Giants Gaming, which is previously RCD Espanol, looking really good. Ended up beating Oxygen and Guild, both RLCS rosters, so stellar job from them. The only team they lost to was Greasy Meister's new team, which I'll talk about here later. But that's Vodafone Giants, looking really, really solid. Vent Gaming, big surprise there. A little bit easier in the matches that they ended up getting RNG'd into, losing to Endpoint, the RLCS team, but then beating 3 non-RLCS teams. So still interested to see how they continue to perform. Endpoint, Metzenaris with Virtuoso and Relating Wave looked clean. Awesome to see there. Their loss only came to Guild. Magnifico, this is Greasy Meister, Dementia, and Atomic. Looked like Greasy Meister, a top 16 team in Europe again. What the heck is going on? So that's super cool. Stormtroopers, which is apparently Jack and the crew, they're showing up well. They ended up beating Oxygen 3-1 to qualify. And then Guild. Guild gave us all a heart attack. Started off strong and then dropped 2 in a row. One to BDS, one to Giants. And we're like, is Scrub Killing the Boys not going to make it? What's happening? But then they ended up playing Glory for Builders and winning in 4. So, again, Oxygen not making it's a really big deal. Nameseekers was a pretty high seed. Other than that, pretty expected. But, I mean, you're talking 2 major upsets, and that's what the title of this video is about. Both Oxygen and Liquid, teams that I consider probably top 3, top 4 in Europe, not making it already. It is cutthroat. These teams really need to grind and get it together. And not saying that they're not practicing and not going, but it's a ton of pressure to defend those spots. I mean, you're talking for Guild, you know, to be up 2-1, next game win, and you're in. You lose one, you lose another. Now you're on your last leg, and it's going down to the wire, and you drop a game, you're down 0-1 in the series. Like, I'm starting to feel nervous. So, again, I love the format. I think they've done a great job, and I think that's what we're going to transition into for the last part of the video. So, I guess the biggest thing I want to say to kind of close out the video is just my overall thoughts about the production itself. Anytime you bring in a new format, you have 2 productions running at the same time between E-League TV and the RLCS or Rocket League. So one's done by DreamHack. The other one I think is done by Bento, who's the guys that do CRL. Overall, and I gotta say it, I mean, kudos. It is not easy to brand new format, 66 games going on, 30 of them on broadcast. You know, like there's so many moving parts going on. You've got like 20 talent or something like that you're trying to coordinate. And at the same time, you're trying to make sure that the audio quality looks good, the gameplay runs solid, minimal server issues. Like there's so many factors behind the scenes that could have went wrong. And if you guys don't remember, Season 9 RLCS, the first time I'm not there, Week 1, servers die, they reschedule the entire thing. It throws everything out the window. So again, I want to give the production company credit. I probably, more than anybody, this isn't me trying to be egotistical, have the best ability to speak to you guys openly about what actively goes on for a production and a broadcast and everything else, because I was a part of the broadcast for 4 years. I worked alongside those guys for so long. So for me to talk and express the fact that I think they did a really good job and they deserve a ton of credit speaks volumes. I think my biggest issue is obviously there's some really long breaks. Like you're talking 18 minutes plus on some of these. And the only reason that's happening is because when you get to the stages of like round 2, 3, 4, you're waiting for like a 1-2 team that finished up to go against another team. If they're going to be 2-2, like things don't always align scheduling. So you kind of just have to wait and see. But the fact that there's 2 broadcasts makes that really awesome. And I've been doing a multi-stream for both of these for all the watch parties. So like when one game wasn't happening, pretty closely there was the other broadcast that you could switch to and turn on audio that one. And if not, we had like a 2 to 5 minute downtime, which is as expected anyway for kind of things to rotate through, whether it be casters or next match setup or what have you. Like seriously, massive credit. Shout out to Psionics, the casters, like everybody behind the scenes. Like you did a really good job and you definitely deserve it. And the fact that we got, like I said, 66 best of 5s and it ran the way it did, and we're just 2 days in out of a 9-month system, that is a lot of Rocket League. With that said, if you guys are still lost, still confused, still have issues trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this format or anything else that's going on, you guys know what to do. I stream daily, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Lawler. You can find that link down below in the description, or you can leave those comments down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you guys enjoy the content, please give it a thumbs up as it helps me out greatly, as well as making sure to hit subscribe and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on the best Rocket League news coverage that is on all of YouTube. That is going to do it for me, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.